What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. I'm your host, of course, Jelani Brown. We got my guy, my co-host, Dad Bell. How you doing this morning?
What's up, bro? Another Sunday, another NFL Sunday, ready to talk some ball. Big week 17, big week. Big week. A lot of playoff implicating games. A lot of teams, two teams will be sad going home. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a big NFL Sunday. Of course, we call this Saturday to Sunday, so we're going to hit on some of the bowl games that we didn't get to talk about earlier that happened this week. So we're just gonna hit on those real quick. Of course, first game we're gonna start off with North Carolina A&T from last night, or North Carolina Texas A&M. Sorry, from last night, and then move on to NFL Sunday because, like that said, big games, big playoff implications. But before we get into that, what was your initial, I guess, thoughts and reactions from the game last night?
Good game. Good game. Lived up to the hype a little bit. Texas A&M pulled away at the end, but it was definitely entertaining. North Carolina's a quality opponent. They showed they'll be good in the future. This game let me know that they're set up for success. Um, just the Texas A&M did what they did. Stay their balanced attack. Their number one running back Spiller got hurt, and they
Mhm.
I don't know how to say his name. A chain,
Chani, yeah,
yeah,
it's a
a
chain.
Chani.
Yeah.
He carried the load and really decided the game with that long 76-yard run. Texas A&M, they're a good coach team. Jimbo, we miss you. You the GOAT. But a good win
Yeah,
for Texas
you.
A&M. Sam Howell made some mistakes, but he showed promise as he has the past two seasons, and the future is bright in UNC. There's not too much to talk about with the game. We can go into that a little more, but from both sides, I like what I saw. Sam Howell, I think he will be a first round pick next year. I don't know if that's a hot take, but that's just how I feel. I feel like he'll come out a year early.
Hmm.
But yeah, two solid teams going at it. Interesting matchup. Good matchup. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this
What's
is
your pick?
I think yeah, before when we was talking about preview some of the bowl games, I think we said this one, and unfortunately it didn't turn
Florida.
out to be. We had the Florida Oklahoma game. We said those two were probably our favorite games outside of the Ohio State and Clemson game. But yeah, like you just said, it was an entertaining game. I feel like UNC they were down there. Of course, they're starting two running backs, and then their number one receiver in Kwame Brown, I believe. But other than that, they came out, they showed fight, they showed promise, like you said. Some younger guys at the receiving corps stepped up, played big. They had a few long bomb passes, but overall they just made a mistake. Like with UNC, the whole thing with them the whole year was they got an explosive offense, but defense is lacking. In a lot of positions, they're young in a lot of positions, and they give up big plays. And that's pretty much what the game was decided last night. Like you said, that long run by Devon Achane pretty much sealed the deal for them. And they even it really didn't even seal the deal because they still had chances. They had timeouts, they had time, but just the I don't know, the lack of play calling, the lack of what you call it, basically capitalizing. My fault, yeah, capitalizing on the big plays because they had what 2-3 deep ball drops that pretty much could have changed the game. Because at that time I think it was still tied. And I think one time they was up by 7. So yeah, just like not capitalizing on those long bomb plays. If they would be able to do that, they might have been able to close out the game a little earlier. But instead, they found themselves in a tied game, and then defense wasn't able to hold their end of the bargain. And pretty much from there, game was written in soul. So pretty much, like you said, UNC showed promise. I like the growth I've seen since Mac Brown has come back. They just have to shore up some things on the defensive side, and like you said, Howell more than likely. I think he's the top quarterback coming in to the season next year, college football next year. So he has a chance, like you said, to pretty much cement his name in UNC history. I think he already did that last night too, in ACC history actually. But he has a chance to go first round next year if he continues to play it the way he played this year, and then he probably be top Heisman candidate as well. But all in all, good game. A&M had a great season. I know a lot of people wanted to see them in the college football playoffs other than Notre Dame, but they're showing promise, like you just said. Y'all miss Jimbo. He's got that program in good spirits and on the right path. So shout out to both these teams. Rising programs. Hopefully they're able to make some noise and then shake it up a little bit more in the college football playoffs next year. Um, Anything else you got to add?
Um, Nah, not too much.
Yeah.
It was just a good game. It wasn't really like too many takeaways I had. Like UNC, they had some opportunities they missed on, and A&M capitalized. Like, did they score in their last 2 or 3 possessions? Because
Nah, that's what.
UNC
Yeah,
went
that's
up.
yeah, that was the other thing. The fourth downs, they went for an early fourth down, I think like second quarter, didn't convert. And then like last night, I was wondering why they ran the ball instead of, at least, putting it on the back of Howell to try to throw it. It was like
Yeah.
4th and 1 or 4th and 2, like 4th and 1.5 long, but it's like still I ran like a misdirection, like read option type play where you just handed to the running back, and that wasn't really working for them. Like they was able to get a little bit of success running the ball early in the game, but just overall, like second half, A&M shut all that down. So I was just trying to figure out like why, like not just put the game on Howell's, back like you've been doing pretty much all season. He's gonna come through for you. Even if he had to run and scramble, he's capable of doing that as well. So it's like I would have rather a different play call, especially in that fourth down before they scored again, instead of what they called, because that pretty much decided the game. For
One
sure.
more
For
thing
sure.
I do want to add, UNC, like this is why I think they have next.
Mhm.
There was a graphic they showed they lost because of opt outs. 4,000 the total yards throughout the season was lost because of 3 players.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
two back switches. That was
Yeah.
a deadly combo. And
Exactly.
one of their receivers, because I remember them, a couple weeks ago, they ran for like what 200 a piece on Miami. So missing them was key,
Hmm.
very key.
300 almost, both of them.
Yeah. That was
Crazy, but
ridiculous.
yeah,
But
that's,
they
that's
hung in there
yeah,
without some of their best athletes, which showed a lot.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Shout out to
Hopefully,
Josh Downs. My fault. Go ahead.
no, what? Shout out to Josh Downs.
I was just saying, shout out to Josh Downs. My pops know him a little bit. Him and his people. He's a Gwinnett kid, so I like to see them shining. That's all.
For
From
sure.
UNC, he's the one that caught those 2 big TDs.
Yeah, that's about to say. Yeah, that's the one of the guys I was saying. Yeah, stepped up big time with Brown out, the number one receiver. So yeah, yeah, he's gonna be big for them next year. Like I said, that they already, I guess, showing that connection, Howell and him. So hopefully, like I said, they just continue that rolling into next year. And like I said, both these teams making some noise, change it up in the college football playoffs. But another game, like I said, we can be quick on this. It's just because it's what we talked about a little bit before I came on. It was one of the other games we both was excited about. Obviously, Florida didn't um, hold their end of the bargain up in this game. Oklahoma came out ready to play, and it showed that, gave them a 30-point smacking. So what when you watched the game, what did you pretty much feel about this game? What do you think it says about Florida, the coaching staff, and the players overall?
Crazy thing is, man, I was at work. I missed most of this game, but every chance like I had, I watched a little bit. I watched most of the second half, but it was over. I caught a little bit of the first, but I expected it. Like I was really excited for the bowl game, but once I started seeing Florida's opt outs, I'm like, I don't know.
Yep.
One was rolling. Florida's a good team, but Trask, he did okay without Pitts in a couple of games, but not having any of his weapons, I knew they were. What was the other question you asked? What about something about Florida's program?
Yeah. What do you think? Did it say anything about the coaching staff at all? Like do you think like they really care about this game? Like would you like you just said they had so many opt outs? It's like who the hell is Trask supposed to throw the ball to? They like you said, they did good with Pitts in a few games, but without Tony, without Grimes, like those are his top 3 targets. So and they never really had a running game all the whole year pretty much. So it's like, do you think it said like, do you think they really care? Do you think they were prepared? Do you think it says anything about Dan Mullins and just how they're running the program?
Coaches have pride. So I think they do. I think they did care, but in the back of his mind, he knew that they might have not been in sync or had the best performance. I don't think it has anything. I don't know about their opt-outs on defense, but I don't know what that has to do with them giving up 55 points. But the offense had somewhat of an excuse,
Yeah.
Like think about it. If you're practicing with these guys all year, these are your number ones, and then this year teams didn't have as much time to prepare for the bowl game. So what? You had maybe 10 days, 14 days to throw a whole new group of guys in there and get camaraderie with them. Because in college, when you're the 4th or 5th receiver on the depth chart, you get some reps with the first team, but the other guys that were thrown in there, the 6th and the 7th guy on the depth chart, those were the guys working scout teams. So, they were pulling Kyle Pitts wasn't the best, and it showed. And he had one of his worst games of the season.
Yeah.
But, he had a good season. Shout out to him. Hopefully it didn't hurt his draft stock too much, but, it was all expected. And Florida's a program, I don't think they should feel too bad about this. From a defensive perspective, Todd Grantham got to get it together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. This is probably
Yeah,
the worst defensive team I've seen in a while for Florida.
yeah. And you know, Florida, they're not saying they're like the Ravens, like you know, a team that always plays hard, that always has defense, but Florida is never the type to give up 55. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, they're not a
Yeah.
Big 12 defense.
Even in the years we were searching for a quarterback, the defense would always play well.
Yeah,
Just that we
they
could
would keep
never
y'all
put
in
no
the game.
points on the board. Yeah, exactly. We just could never put points on the board. Felipe Franks and all those other guys. But yeah, like you said,
I think
hopefully it
they'll
doesn't
be
hurt
okay,
us.
though.
He said overall, yeah. I mean, they should. They will be
I have a
searching
quick
for.
question for you, really quick.
Yeah.
You're a Florida fan. A lot of Florida fans are high on Emory Jones. Like, what do you feel about that transition into next season? Because he's more of a runner than a thrower, and that can hurt you at times when you're limited like that. So, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't know, honestly. Like I never, like I said, even when they was kind of like doing the Felipe Franks, Emory Jones, like trying to, they was putting them both in, trying to figure out what direction they was gonna go in. Like you just said, like he's more of like a run style quarterback. He's not big at all. I don't think he has the best accuracy either. So it's like I'm nervous overall for the offense. I'm hoping they were or they are able to retool in recruitment and get some big name guys coming in. I think it's just going to be overall interesting. I'm more so focused on the defense, like you said, because there's never a time we should be giving up 55 points, even though the Sooners offense, was rolling. It was a team overall that was rolling. And coming in the game, just, clicking on all cylinders. And I don't think they had really many opt-outs of the game. So they just got to figure out the defensive side of the ball. Emory Jones, I'm not too comfortable with him being started quarterback, but I think there's going to be some type of competition. I forgot what you ranked, but I think we got another a big time recruit coming in at QB. I think he was either 4 or 5 star. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, Dan Mullen came out and said something about him publicly.
Yeah,
he's from McEachern.
Yeah.
Del Rio. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that's going to create some type of competition. I don't know who we go with, who we start out with. More than likely, probably Emory Jones, since he's been in the offense for 3 years now. So
he's ready his time. So
exactly. So
I know he's not going to try to get that spot up.
Exactly. But overall, like I said, I'm just hoping like the pieces that we're losing isn't going to be too heavy, and we're just able to retool because cast passing weapons, Kyle Pitts, Grimes, Tony, all of them are going to draft, and all of them pretty much don't know what round they're going to go in, but they're pretty much gone, and we need some guys, as you can see, to step up and fill those voids because we didn't really have too many during this game. But Cousin is tell me, he said defense look like the Cowboys for sure. And we're actually going to be talking about the Cowboys a little bit later. Obviously, y'all got a big game today, playoff implications, so we'll get to that in a second. But last game of the bowl games that we didn't really get to talk about yesterday, and just overall the Georgia versus Cincy one. What'd you I guess think about this one? I got to watch it a little bit. I was on the way back home while this game was on, but of course JT Daniels helped lead them to a comeback. I know they was down 21-10 in the fourth, put some points on the board and was able to kick a field goal to end the game and win the game. So what do you think of this one? And then I'll just ask my follow-up questions about Cincy, because a lot of people besides A&M wanted Cincy to kind of have a shot at the college football playoffs as well, because they had an undefeated season on the line. And I guess they performed in this game, but in the end they weren't able to seal the deal. So what did you think of this one?
Yeah, we'll get to that Cincy question in a second. The game, it was a good game. I didn't know if the moment was going to be too big for Cincinnati. They haven't played anybody like this. They're undefeated, but their best opponent was UCF, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They showed they belong. I like the game. It was a good game. They really controlled the flow of the game. I just think their conservative play calling on offense in the end cost them the game. Like, I think they had many chances to put the game away.
Exactly.
But like, if I was a fan of Cincinnati, I'd be proud. Like, I really thought they were going to go in here and get blown out. It's basically a home game for Georgia.
Yep.
They've been playing well ever since JT Daniels took over the reins of the offense. And it's like they weren't scared. They showed they belong. They really dominated the trenches. Like, their D-line was getting after JT Daniels, and UGA's known for getting them country boys. Like, come on now. Yep. But, it's a good game. JT Daniels showed some fight, some toughness. I don't know how to say. I think it's Desmond Ritter. Mm-hmm. If he has another season like this, I could see him potentially turning into a pro prospect. They just showed me fight. There's not too much to talk about. It was just a hard-nosed fought game. They controlled the flow of the game. I really thought they were going to win. Just like I said, a couple of conservative play calls and a couple of third downs where they didn't execute, make the plays, cost them the game in the end. But it literally came down to the wire. Like,
Yeah, with the
as a
53 field
Cincinnati
goal.
head coach, I'm proud of the team. You know, we really had an undefeated season. We lost one game and we lost it in the last second. So there's really not much to be disappointed in. The future's bright. I don't know what they look like returning wise, like what prospects are returning, but since he looked good, they showed some promise, man.
Yeah, but I guess with them, this past year was probably the craziest, probably will be the craziest year of college football. Just because so many moving parts and so many things, like people starting late, people not playing at all, so many opt outs. And so like just like Notre Dame, kind of in the sense that they had to join the ACC and they kind of like got a little bit better competition, which is even though they did go undefeated, they got better competition, which is why they kind of got cemented in that playoff spot, even when getting blown out in the championship game. So kind of same thing for Cincinnati, one of those mid-level major teams that don't never get any type of recognition because they don't really play in the Power 5 conferences. So this is kind of like their year. Do you think this year helped them gain respect, and then going into next year, if they have some like a similar type season where they're going undefeated, they'll get more looks at the college football playoffs? Or sometimes we see like one lost SEC teams or ACC teams maybe sneak in. So what do you think it does for them in their future?
I think the respect. I think they have a little bit of respect, but they have to do it again. You can't just do the 1-year wonder thing. UCF went undefeated. I think. I know they did one season, but I think the next season they only lost one game, and then they beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They still didn't get their respect. So I don't know what it is. Maybe because they're not a blue blood, or they're not Alabama or Clemson. They just don't. Their name's not, up in the ranks. I honestly don't know, but I think for their respect is up a little bit. But for them to make the playoffs, they have to go undefeated every time. I can never see Cincinnati getting in with one loss. Like the respect's just not there. And I don't know why, but you just got to keep balling. They can earn respect over time, but it's going to take some time. For them to make the playoff, like in the future, it doesn't matter what they do. I think they have to go undefeated.
Yeah, for sure. Especially not being in one of these big Power 5 conferences.
You're in the AAC, I think. AAC conference.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure something out. I know they have contracts and everything that they signed, but maybe eventually they can make that move somewhere else.
It's unfair, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, I know UCF, they went undefeated. They were beating everybody handily, and they never got even a shot. So,
yeah,
it is what it is. Got to get up there.
Exactly. And I think we're going to save it for another show, but it just kind of popped in my head since it's the end of the bowl season, besides, of course, the national championship game, just expanding the playoffs in general. Yeah. But I think we'll save that for another show. I'm more so on that they should extend it at least to 6, maybe. But I know 8's been in the talks and maybe should be happening in about a year or 2. But that's another conversation for another day.
I agree.
Well, go ahead, switch over to the NFL. Like we talked before at the beginning of the game, there's a lot of big games going on today. Starting at 1:00, they got big playoff implications for a lot of teams. Like that I said, I think 2 will probably be going home pretty sad, even with winning records. So we typically start off the show or start off the NFL segments with talking about both of our teams. We're gonna skip my team today because there's really not much to talk about. I think the Bucs pretty much got their spot cemented, and the Falcons aren't playing for anything. So we'll talk about the Jags and Colts. Pretty big game for the Colts side. Jags have already won their season by locking up that number 1 pick. So Thad, since this is your team, your game, tell us what we should be looking forward to.
For one, I just got to start off by saying this. I'm usually sad when it's week 17, but this is the first year I'm excited just to see what we do in the offseason, the moves we make. But back to the game, I don't think it will be close. We're already, we're getting ready for Trevor. We're sitting DJ Chark, Robinson. I don't think Colin Johnson is playing either one of our young emerging receivers. So, we're kind of just keeping everybody healthy for 2021.
Exactly.
The game's not going to be close anyway because the Colts kind of have that taste in their mouth. We're the only team to beat them, and it was week 1. So they're definitely looking for revenge. And they're going to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor and push us around pretty much. That's what's going to happen. There's not much to talk about. They need this win. They're hungry because of what happened in week 1, and they will get the win pretty handily. I say the Colts will win by 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, because this is big for them.
Yeah, as long as Phillip Rivers doesn't choke the game off. I mean, we're going to compete. I'm not saying we're really, really tanking, but now that we have the number 1 pick, locked up. We can go out there and get a dub. It'd be nice to see if we could sweep a playoff team twice. But hey, I'll be watching. I'm just really excited for next season. But the Colts should win if they do what they're supposed to do and follow behind that offensive line. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, like I said, I feel that I've been saying all year it's pretty much on the back of Phillip Rivers. They're gonna take him as far as he's gonna take him as far as they can go. But actually the last few weeks is really been like the defense laying up. Obviously, like last week, laying up a big comeback against Pitt. Even though I know Phillips had a hand in that as well. I think he threw like a pick or two.
That was that one was wild.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, it really for them. I think they need to win. Like they need to win. Period. If they even want to have a shot. But let me go back over here. I think right now they're sitting just outside. Yeah, on the bubble at 8. Yeah, so they gotta win, and they need, I think, help from. I don't think they need help from anybody. But
yeah, they just gotta. They just have to get some help, which they will, because either the Dolphins are gonna lose. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the next game I'm going to talk about. I think, if the Dolphins lose and they win, they for sure in. I think it's so much that's going. It's like this is the one I think is this one, and I think NFC East is the craziest stuff that got to be happening for people to get in. And what there says is they can still clinch the AFC title. Actually, if they win and Tennessee loses or ties, or if they tie and Tennessee loses, they can win the AFC South, which is crazy. Because I think both of them have the same record at 10-5 right now. And then just to clinch a playoff berth, they have to win, and the Ravens have to lose, or the Browns have to lose, or the Dolphins have to lose. So one of those 3 teams got to lose for them to get that cemented spot and then win, or they just got to tie, and then all the other teams lose. So a lot of possibilities for them to get in the playoffs, but at the same time, they got to hold their end of the bargain up, like you said, and win the game. Because like you said, the Jaguars show. I saw a tweet earlier. It was like Jaguars show they could win They said they mess around and show people that they could win if they wanted to win, but it was like nah. After the first game of the year, because like you said, they took out Indy, and they've been playing every single game they've played this year. They've played close games, and they've pretty much won.
Like the Titans and Ravens.
Yeah, that's the only and I think Pittsburgh as well. So other than that, like y'all have had close games all year, so. For you, like you just said, bright future ahead. Should be getting Trevor. They got pieces surrounding him on both sides of the ball. So who knows what the
face, man.
Oh yeah, but who's gonna? Well, I mean, I guess some people
know. We're gonna be like, we got Trevor coming. He's attraction. He's the attraction. We don't have much attraction. We got a quarterback.
Them Jacksonville beaches. That's what. That's what people.
Nobody want to go to them brown beaches, bro.
That's what I was about to say. That's that might be the highlight of everything. But yeah, hopefully the Colts are able to handle business. They can get that spot. I mean, they've been a fun team to watch all year, but like I said, it's just going to ride on the back of Phillips. But next game that has playoff implications as well. Bills versus the Dolphins, and actually both these teams have a little bit to fight to play for, because the Bills now have a shot at the number 2 spot with that recent slide of the Steelers. They won last week against the Colts, but they win today, and I think the Steelers, which can possibly lose, because I think they're resting a few guys. Bills have that number 2 spot, and then with the Dolphins, I think they got to win to be in. They got a few scenarios here. So what I'm seeing is win, or Ravens lost, Browns lost, Colts lost, and they're in, or they have to tie, and then they have to tie, the Ravens have to tie, the Browns have to tie, the Colts have to tie, and then they're in, or they have to tie and the Titans have to lose for them to be in. So a lot of different possibilities for them as well, but if they win, pretty much their spot is cemented. So what do you think comes from this game? Who do you think pulls out this game?
It's going to be tough. I'm pulling for the Dolphins. I'm pulling for Tua to play better this week. Will be his coldest game. If I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to snow in Buffalo, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too bad, along with the defense. But, I'm just looking – I'm going to be watching Tua. Hopefully he's more comfortable out there. He's not – he wouldn't say it, but I feel like he's looking over his shoulder a little bit, with Ryan Fitzpatrick coming in and outperforming him at times. But with him being out for COVID, he knows going into this game it's just him. He can't be replaced no matter what he does. Just go out there, be fearless, and sling it. I'm pulling for the Dolphins. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like the Bills don't care about the 2 seed. if it was a 1 seed, maybe. But like I know Tre'Davious White's not playing today, and some other people, but I'm interested to see if they take their foot off the gas and they just we're in the playoffs. But if Josh Allen's playing, they might come out there and compete. But I'm gonna go here with the upset. Miami's gonna be hungry. That defense is as advertised. I thought they were a little overrated at first, but I watched them play. And they're pretty good. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins by 3 in an upset somewhat, and they secure that final playoff berth. I wouldn't be surprised if they get blown out because I don't know how to respond in the cold and the snow. Like he's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's not what he's used to.
That's not a good mix.
Yeah, but hopefully he bounces back. I feel like he's gonna have a big game. If he doesn't play well and he really, really struggles, I think the Dolphins might consider moving on from him, which is sounding crazy,
but they have the chance to with that number 3 pick at the moment. So
it depends on what's around. If they need an edge rusher, if they need O-line, which they probably do, it depends. But I'm pulling for Tua. Hopefully he plays well, so they don't have to consider that. And the Dolphins pull out the dub by 3 in a close one.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because, like you already alluded to, he has no save the day type guy sitting behind him in Ryan Fitzpatrick. He don't have that Fitz magic today.
I don't think he wanted that though. I don't think he wanted that.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to ask. Do you think that's gonna help boost his confidence and kind of like I don't know? Do you think it's gonna help? Yeah, boost his confidence, but also like with the Dolphins, I feel like they've been real complacent with him, real like keeping them kind of like under wraps. Like they haven't opened up like the playbook or all that to him in a sense. But also, I think that depends on like the guys that he has in at receiver because Devontae Parker sometimes is like real limp. He's real hurt. Jeremy Garrett, I think he was out a few games. Like basically, he's had his pass catching weapons not be healthy all the time in the lineup. And even with running back, they've had like a carousel back there as well. So, do you think that like? Because I mean, if they win, they're in. But they can get a little bit of help and still get in. Do you think that just like boosts his confidence overall? No Fitz behind him, so he don't really got to worry about that. And then like, do you think it also for the offense? I guess offensive coordinator opens things up. Do they try to open things up a little bit more today for him?
I don't think they open it up more, but I think this helps Tua for today, especially. He watches it like Tua's a humble kid. He's never the one to tweet out about if he's frustrated on social media like some guys do. Like he knows like. The coach is benching me because Tua hasn't really. It's more of a dink and dunk offense, but he hadn't been performing. He knows like when this guy comes in, he outperforms me, and that's kind of in the back of his head. But today with Fitzmagic being at home, not even being in the locker room, like there's nothing for him to worry about. I think he'll go in there calm, cool, and collecting and play well. But to talk about the offense really quick, I don't think they'll open up the playbook, and the reason why they haven't is because Tua was fairly new.
Yeah,
he spent the better part of the beginning of quarantine still rehabbing from that hip injury, so he wasn't able to do too many drills. I think he's still coming into his own. Like next year, he'll be completely healthy. Even though I think he's healthy now, but he'll be a little bit faster. But they just didn't have that time. The offseason was shortened this year. He's a rookie quarterback. He didn't have time to get with Chan Gailey and really, go through the playbook like they wanted to and get as many reps as possible. I feel like he's really I count it for rookies as like their first 4 games. They don't get a preseason. Those are their preseason games. So, he's 6-2. This is game 4 or 5 for him. So, he's still coming into his own. I give him a little time, but the playbook will be opened up more, but it hasn't this season because of COVID and because of the circumstances that they had to deal with. But we'll see. It's snowing, so it's kind of hard to really just air it out. And I know too, I don't know if he has small hands, but small hands in the cold that matters. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully,
so that like when it's cold, joints get tight, all that stuff matters. So
yes,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm saying he should go in there, calm, cool, collected. It's like not that he doesn't have much to lose, but he does have. I feel like he has a little bit of pressure on him. Like Dolphins are kind of ahead of the schedule this year. The way they've been playing.
No, you're right.
So I feel like, and they've had chances, of course, like to either go with him or go with Ryan. So them choosing to continue to stick with him, I think it's a little bit of pressure, but I think he probably will rise to the challenge. I don't know if they win, but I think somehow they get into the playoffs today. Some other team's going to mess around and lose a game and probably help put them in the position they need to be in to win, or not win, but lock up that last playoff spot. But I think like with him, like you kind of alluded to earlier, like what we both just said, they had the third pick because they had the Houston, Texas pick. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see them draft the quarterback at that spot. I don't think they do, but it's like you said, like if he continues to kind of play iffy, and especially like today, if he has like a terrible game, like what do they do with him? Like, do they look at a quarterback because they can, or do they just ride with him next year? Like you said, he'll have that full off season. COVID hopefully will be under wraps by then, so he'll have that full off season to train, get acclimated to the playbook, so they open it up next year for him. Get that hip even healthier. Improve his mechanics, get bigger, faster, stronger, all of that. So I don't know. I think they probably gonna ride with him. I think they maybe try to give him maybe a deep threat, or like a Jamar. Look at it like a Jamar Chase, or maybe a Devontae Smith or something at that third spot. I don't know.
It's a lot of scenarios. Like, I've never been into this draft stuff like this. Like, I didn't really care what other teams did. I don't know why I care so much this year, but they have a lot of things they can do. Like the Jamar Chase thing, that's something I thought of a long time ago, and I thought nobody. I think I'm crazy. He opted out, but I could see him going top 5 with a game changer. I don't know though. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like how he testing everything at the combine, because I guess that's what they're gonna have to go based off of since he opted out. But everybody was saying he was the better receiver of him and Jefferson last year. We didn't see what Jefferson did this year. So
So hey, we'll see.
Exactly. Then we'll move on, talk a little bit about this game, Pitt and Cleveland. Interesting picture that I chose because the history between these two. But I chose this picture because they're resting Big Ben today. They're gonna, I guess, hand the ball over to Mason Rudolph to try to. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna try to. I guess they're obviously gonna try to. Every team should be trying to win an NFL game when they have the chance to. But give him the ball to try to win this game against their rivals in the Cleveland Browns. So I guess just initial reactions about this game, and then I guess we'll talk about the playoff implications and scenarios that goes with these two teams.
Initial reaction,
or just like what you think will win. Yeah.
I expect Myles Garrett to. I know it's not that deep, but I expect him to have a sack or two. It works out perfectly. Like the quarterback that got you suspended, you get to play him week 17 of the following season. I didn't think he'd ever play again because he wasn't very good, in my opinion. But Myles Garrett's going to get after his ass today. It's interesting to see.
No, he was terrible.
Yeah, what the Browns do. The Browns have been somewhat inconsistent at times, but with the Steelers opting out players, this is like a must-win for Baker. If he wants to be that guy, if he wants to get that extension, he has to win this game. You're playing a backup quarterback. They have some starters out. You got to go out there and ball. Everything's on the line. I don't know the last time the Browns have been to the playoffs. I don't remember it, and I've been watching football since I was like 4 or 5. I really can't recall.
Yeah.
So, big game on both sides. If I had to pick who's going to win, I would go with the Browns by 3 because the Steelers are resting so many people. Well, not so many. They have a lot of starters out. But I could see the Steelers coming out with this one. But if they do, I feel bad for you, Baker. They're going to be talking about you bad for a little bit because he really has a chance to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear Cleveland Browns, you kind of think of Baker Mayfield because he's the quarterback that got them over the hump or got them into the playoffs. So this is a big game for him. I'm interested to see what happens. It's really hard to call these games where all these players or starters are sitting out, but the Browns have a lot on the line. They're going to be hungry. Playoff spot on the line. You can't ask for anything more. Week 17, literally win or go home pretty much. So,
yeah. And we'll talk about the scenarios in a second, but right now they're sitting at the 7th spot. And like you said, I think it's a big game for Baker because I feel like almost every game that Baker ever plays in, we're always saying it's a big game for Baker. But it's definitely a big one because coming off the way, even though he was without so many receivers last week, coming off a terrible overall team performance, but definitely a terrible performance by him in that offense last week. And just like you said, it's been so up and down with him overall in his career with Cleveland, but for sure, like this year. But it's like, I don't know. It feels like it's not his fault, but at the same time, it is because even last year, what was the storylines going into last year? Last year, we was like, oh, yeah, they should definitely be. There was people writing them off to go to the Super Bowl once they got Odell. They had Landry. They had Njoku. They had everybody on the opposite side. And then their defense was supposed to be stout.
Oh.
Yeah, and he had Super Bowl, not even playoff Super Bowl, but that failed. Things happened, storylines came about, and it just didn't happen. There's been rumblings: is he the guy that they should have took at number one? Is he the quarterback of the future? Even coming into this year, first game of the year, got smacked by the Ravens, and same thing was happening. But since then, I think we talked about it a little before, but ever since Odell got injured, I feel like that pressure's been lifted off a little bit because he feel like
real quick, literally soon he
yeah.
took off. I don't know.
It was weird. It's like all that pressure, like he was relieved because he felt like he had to force the ball to Odell, even though Odell, I guess like it's just the storylines and antics that was coming with him, thinking like he's a diva or whatever. But he wasn't even. He was chilling. Like he wasn't caring. I don't think he was caring that much whether he got the ball, and as long as they was winning, because like he wasn't getting the ball and they was losing. So it was like, what's my purpose here? What's the point? But I think once he got injured, like all that pressure relieved. He's had some big games, like we said yesterday, like with the Titans. He's had some big games, just overall this year. But like you said, it's all on the line today. Like he has to perform well. He has to play against the Steelers defense that is pretty stout, pretty good. I don't know if they're resting too many guys or too many stars on that side of the ball, but he has a chance to prove himself against not only a division rival, but prove himself against, just the media of the NFL to submit, like you just said, the Browns in the spot in the playoffs. Because when's the last time we even heard that? Or even when's the last time they even had a chance going into week 17 to possibly make the playoffs? Like it's always, their season's always pretty much done before they snap the ball. So,
yep.
But just to go through their playoff implications real quick, or scenarios, my fault. Right now, like I said, they're in the 7th spot. What they have to do is win, and they're pretty much in. They don't really got to worry about nothing. But if not, they don't win. The Colts got to lose, Titans got to lose, and the Dolphins have to win or tie, and the Ravens have to win or tie. So pretty much they need 2 teams to win, Titans to lose, or they have to tie, and then everybody else has to lose, which is the Titans, Dolphins, and Ravens, or they have to tie and the Colts have to tie. Or everybody has to tie across the board and then they get in. So a lot of different things for them to, or a lot of different ways for them to get into the playoffs as well. They're at 10-5 right now, but pretty much just like I believe the Colts, not the Colts. Just like the Colts, if they or not Colts, my fault. Just like the Dolphins, if they win, they're in. They don't got to worry about the rest of the stuff that's going on. So it'll be interesting to see. But it's definitely a big game for Baker. I know we say that all the time, every week, but he gets them in, and some of those storylines may relax a little bit on him. So
I'd say biggest game of his career, but then again, next week will be the biggest game of his career if they win. So but for right now, he has.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm gonna say biggest game of his career until
next
week. If they win or lose, or until like they get to playoffs, then the next game is gonna be another big game for him in his career, is the playoffs. But probably the most interesting talk of the day will be the NFC East. And we're gonna be talking about both their games, I believe, back to back right now. Their rival games. Cowboys play Giants, Washington plays the Eagles. There's so many moving parts, so much going on with all these teams. It's the craziest and weirdest thing I've seen in football in a while. But pretty much every team in this division besides the Eagles right now has a chance to make the playoffs. So just, I guess, first thoughts of this game, Giants versus Cowboys, and who do you think comes out on top? And then we'll get into the playoff implications after we talk about the Washington Eagles as well.
I see your dad say be gentle, but I don't think I am. I'm not really looking forward to this game. I feel like it's a playoff implicating game, but I'm not looking forward to watch it for some reason. I have no idea. But it depends on a lot of things. Is Daniel Jones fully recovered? Because him not having his mobility changes his game. People don't like him, but I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's potentially the future in New York. He has some flaws. He's young, but he's still learning. But without his mobility, he's not the same player. But right now, Dallas is kind of I wouldn't even say they're hot because they keep beating up on garbage teams. But you can't tell Cowboys fans that. They're 3-0. Andy Dalton's playing well. They're not playing at home though, and I think it's snowing in New York. So it's a lot of factors that go into this game. I don't know who's going to show up. But if I go with my gut, I'm going with the Cowboys because they're somewhat streaky. You know, New York's defense is good, but I don't think they'll be able to put up enough points to the Giants' offense won't be able to put up enough points to keep up with the Cowboys today. And I don't watch the Giants that much, but if they have to run the ball, can they really run the ball? Because when it's snowing like that, the conditions aren't well. I don't know if they can't run the ball. It will be a tough. What'd you say?
My dad. Oh, he just said he saw Kardashian the Cowboys. I guess he's just trying to give his team a little bit of good luck. But y'all are the team that needs the most help out of everybody. So I was saying we'll get into that, but I don't think
actually. I think they have the same thing. They both have to win, and Washington has to lose, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, both of them. Yeah. Because I forget they got the tiebreaker over Washington because they beat them.
They swept them. Yeah. They swept them.
Yeah. So it's that's pretty much, but he I'm laughing because he said because you were basically giving them praise, and then you said they're not gonna be able to put enough points, so he said you had potential. So I mean that's pretty funny. But yeah, overall I don't know. Like you just said, running the ball wise, Gallman's been pretty good. Saquon went down. They got my guy. Well, not really my guy, but our old running back, Devontae Freeman. He played like 2 games and got injured. I don't know if they released him by now or what, but Wayne Gallman's been pretty good for them. I think in recent weeks though he hasn't really been able to run that well. But I guess big game for Danny Dimes in his early career. Is he healthy? Will he be able to get them over the hump? Like Giants defense has been playing a lot better. I didn't watch much of them either, but the games I did watch, one of the games was the game after me and my dad were talking about them, and that's when they had their little hot streak and they was playing the Cardinals, and they thought they was about to rattle off some wins and take over the NFC East. And I watched that game, and then I was highly disappointed again. They looked terrible. Like the defense kind of held up their end of everything, but Danny Dimes didn't do what he was supposed to do. Colt McCoy is warming up. I told him they might as well just throw him in to give him a chance. So, and that was just after he had helped them beat Seattle. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game because, it's just it's like 2 bad news Bears teams just playing against each other. I'm expecting a lot of turnovers on both ends. So whoever's able to capitalize off those turnovers should be able to, put this game away and win. But that does make it interesting because, like I said, there's going to be a lot of turnovers. It's going to be, you saw what he said, my third favorite sundown. It's okay. I'll take third. I mean, I can't get no worse than that. 3 out of 3. So, yeah, I mean, I think Dallas more than likely wins, but for some reason I don't think either one of these teams don't make the playoffs. And like I said, we'll get to that because I think no matter who wins, I think Washington's still going to win, which we're about to talk about next. I believe Alex Smith is playing today, but it should be an interesting game. Like I said, it should be 2 bad news Bears teams playing against each other, a lot of turnovers, and whoever capitalizes should win. Whoever's able to run the ball should win as well. Tony Pollard has looked good when Zeke is out. I think Zeke might be playing today, but if they have that 1-2 combo going from the jump, and then Andy Dalton's able to control the game, make the right throws when he's supposed to, then they should be all good to go, win the game. But I still don't think neither one of these teams wins the division, and I appreciate that. Like a true Falcons fan, it's all right. We're both going to be in the same position after today, so it's okay. Both going home, packing our bags, looking forward to the draft. So it's all right. But we'll move on. That was our little segment with the Giants today. I knew he was going to be tuned in for that. Other than that, he's probably going to log right off once we start talking about the other games. But I actually want to come back to this one. We're going to talk about this one first because we're talking about the NFC East. We're going to keep on track with them. Washington and the Eagles. Who do you think takes this game? I think I already said, like I said, Washington. Alex Smith, I believe, is playing today. That's going to be big for them. Hopefully, they're able to keep them upright and stay healthy. But I think they're the ones that wins the division. But what do you think?
I agree with you. The Eagles are kind of – Jim Schwartz said something about they don't want anybody celebrating the division title on their field, but I think the Eagles players have somewhat tapped out. They've been eliminated from playoff contention. They're sitting some starters. I will have to look again, but I know on offense, Deshaun's not playing, Lane Johnson's not playing, Miles Sanders not playing. So that doesn't help, and they're already going against Washington football team. So you know how they're for their defense. So I see Jalen Hurts struggling today. It's his team. might as well get used to it for maybe a year or two. I don't know. I think they'll be looking for a new quarterback after 2 years of Jalen Hurts. But we'll see.
Oh well,
But
I
yeah,
guess that's a conversation for a little later on. You don't believe in the I guess I think someone said they don't have film on them yet. They don't got tape on them yet. But I mean, they got college tape. I guess they just don't got NFL tape in the way they're using them in the Eagles offense. So you think kind of like, even though Lamar's kind of adjusted to it a little bit, like once teams start to get that film on him, that he'll start to kind of see a decline, and then they might be looking to switch over from him. Yeah, he's not the same player at all. I'm not even
runner as Lamar. Lamar has more arm talent too. Yeah. He just needs to, work on his mechanics some. But we'll talk about that, like you said, another day. But I'm just not really. We'll see about that. But he's going to struggle against his defense. He doesn't have they don't have really that many weapons to start with. But I think Alex Smith's going to take care of the ball. They're going to limit time of possession, and their defense is just going to limit them to field goals. They might let them get down the field. They'll be at times bend but don't break. But they're definitely going to get after Jalen Hurts, and I just see him having a long day. And Washington closing the deal. It's really it's the best scenario. They're playing a team that's not that hungry. Their season's over. Division on the line. You're getting your quarterback back. I know their offense isn't very exciting, but they're getting McLaurin back and Anton Gibson, so that should help. And as long as Alex Smith takes care of the ball like he always does, I think they'll be in good hands. And I see them coming away with the dub by 7. I just feel like it'll be a long day for Hurts. He's going to be picking himself up off the grass for a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, it's pretty much one team got something to play for, the other team doesn't, and they're sending a lot of guys. So it's going to be a tough day for Jalen, especially with that front 7 of the football team that they have. They're going to pretty much be getting after him all day. They're going to be hungry, like you said, just to make that playoff appearance and get that not last spot, get their NFC East division title, but also in a sense like the last spot, because more than likely it's going to be a one and done type game for them. But I guess to go over the scenarios real quick for the two teams. Well, Eagles are out of it, but for Washington, all they have to do is win. They win, they're in. They don't got to worry about nothing because they got the tiebreakers over everybody but the Giants and the better record. But if they tie and the Cowboys lose or tie, then they're still in. So Giants fans can, I guess, hope a little bit if Washington doesn't win. And then for the Giants and Dallas, like you said, they both just have to win. Or for the Giants, yeah, both of them, yeah. Either one of them just has to win, and then Washington has to lose, and they're probably besides the Eagles, and it would be interesting to see what happens at the end of the day. This game is the I guess the prime time game at night, so I guess Washington will also have to see. Well, they don't have to see what happens with the 1 o'clock game, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they win, they gotta take care of their business. But I guess if the if the Giants win, they know they gotta win. Like there's no excuse. But if the Cowboys tie with them, then I guess they know that they can also tie. But more than likely, they're just going for the win. They just gotta win the game. And then we'll go back to this one real quick, and then we'll move on to the other NFC game. But Rams and the Cardinals. Cardinals have been slipping a little bit. I think right now they're in the 8th spot because Chicago won last week. They're 7th right now. And the Bears lose, and of course they're in. There's also a big game for the Rams. I believe they still have a chance to win the division. So what do you think happens with this game? Who do you think comes out on top?
Winner go home. I'm going to go with the Cardinals because they have the better quarterback. And I think they're not the healthiest team. Let me take that back. I don't want to say that. I'm just going based off the quarterback in the scenario. It's going to be tough for Kyler because they're without a lot of people. Kirk just got put on the COVID list yesterday. Fitzgerald's not going to be playing. They're already without Chase Edmonds. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be tough. Like the Rams defense, we were just talking about that. Their defensive coach possibly getting some, head coaching interviews and stuff. Their defense has been playing crazy, and it's going to be tough to operate on the Rams offense with Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd getting pressure. And that guy in the picture, I don't even know him like that, but he's always around the ball.
Always around the ball, yep.
So, but it's just going to be tough because without Kurt, I don't think Andy Isabella is playing either, the little speedy guy. So I actually basically going to follow Hop all game, so it's not going to be the easiest matchup in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Rams without Goff, Cooper Kupp's not playing, Cam Akers might not play. Both teams are banged up, but I'm going to go with Kyler because I'm taking him over a guy named John Wofford. I've never seen. I mean, everybody. I wish him the best. Hopefully, this is not his only NFL start, but it's kind of rough. You can't just hop in there week 17. I don't think they get eliminated if they lose, but I think there's a possibility they don't make the playoffs. So they got to show up.
Yeah.
They got to show up.
Yeah. I actually misspoke. I said they had a chance at the division, but no, they're still fighting for a playoff berth. They have an easier path. Like they can lose and still kind of be in the mix.
I think they get the Bears this year on Monday night, so the Bears can't get.
Yeah.
Them. But yeah,
right now they I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna be real.
No, I was just saying I was just saying they have to win or the Bears have to lose or tie, and then they're in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if I had to choose, I'm taking. Well, I have to pick. I'm taking Arizona by 3, maybe 7. It'll be a close game. The defense will keep them in it, and Arizona not having their full arsenal of weapons will hurt them. And Kyler's somewhat banged up. I don't know what type of lower leg injury he has. He's playing, but he's not going to be the same Kyler. He's been banged up though, somewhat. Banged up shoulder and his leg. So
yeah,
be interested to see. And Aaron Donald's quick, so he might not be able to run away from him today.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a tall task for him, but it's gonna, like you said, a tall task for the opposite side of the ball for the Rams and for the Cardinals as well. Both sides of the ball for them. Honestly, like you said, Larry's not playing. Kyler's banged up. Now not only his shoulder, but like you just said, his leg, his knee took a hit. Last play of the game last week, so he's gonna be a little wobbled. He's not gonna be able to be as mobile as he would like and extend plays like he normally is able to do, which could come down. You never know. Could come down to a key play where he has to be mobile, like that game against the Bills, and throw up a Hail Mary pass. But like you said, on the Rams side of the ball, they got a guy starting in the last week of the season that we've never really heard of. But from what I've been hearing, some people think he might be a little bit of an upgrade over Goff, especially the way he's been playing the last few weeks. They say he's like mobile. I think they say he has a decent arm, but they say McVay may be able to open up the playbook a little bit more with him, just because he's a mobile style quarterback. But like I say, it's not, NFL is not easy. It ain't just no cakewalk. He ain't gonna just be able to come in here and put up 30, 40 points on the Cardinals. So overall, it's gonna be interesting just to see how this game plays out. Rams defense, we already know what they're about. They're going to get after Kyler. They're going to get after pretty much everybody else. And like you said, Jalen Ramsey's going to more than likely be shadowing D-Hop all game because they don't really got to worry about too many of the other guys because they got some other receivers out. So, yeah. For the Cardinals, though, playoff implications, let me pull it back up real quick. I know they, of course, like I said, they're in the 8th spot, so they have to win.
I know the Bears
have to lose. Yeah, more than likely it's probably like they have to win. Yep. To clinch a playoff berth, they have to win or they have to tie, and the Bears have to lose. So, regardless of anything that's happening, the Bears have to lose, and that's the next thing we're about to talk about, which is a possibility. So they probably need the most help out of these two teams in order to make the playoffs, which is crazy because they came out to a hot start, and everybody, including me, I was like, this division definitely has three teams going, but their recent slips in the last few weeks. I think they had lost 4 out of 5 at one point. Pretty much put them in this position. Then, like I said, now they need help. They need the Bears to lose. And who would have thought? Bears started out 5-1, then took a slide, and then now they're right back in playoff contention and control their own destiny. So it's crazy. Which, like I said, we're moving on to and talking about now real quick, which I think is our last NFL game, which we're going to talk about before we head out. But Packers, Bears, another rivalry game, another big-time game. I believe for both squads with Green Bay, all they really have to do is win and Seattle lose, and they cement that number 1 spot. But who do you think comes out on top with these two, and then pretty much what do you think it's gonna happen? I guess moving forward with these two teams, if both do make the playoffs.
Bears and Packers, correct? Am I looking at the wrong package? Okay.
Right. No, you look at the right one. Yeah.
I don't know. The the Packers, they're in the playoffs. Maybe they want that bye. I think the bye is crucial this year because only one team gets it. So I think they'll be hungry. I don't know, man. I wouldn't say Trubisky's playing really well, but he is playing a little bit better with more confidence. I mean, maybe those mental reps he got when he was benched, helped. But this is a tough one for me because the Bears are playing for something. Like as bad as they've played of late, like they started out the season 5-0, and I don't know why they're in a predicament, but I think I don't know, man. My prediction for the game would be Packers by 7. It'll be closer than a lot of people will think, especially because they got blown out last time. And it's in Chicago. I don't know what the weather's looking like. It doesn't matter to Rodgers. He's off last week.
I think last time I looked like a day or two, it was snowing. So, I mean, it could be snowing still.
So it could be a different game. I don't know what to expect. I'm going to go Packers, but the Bears have played okay, and I think that Mitchell Trubisky makes one bad decision and gives Aaron Rodgers one extra possession, and that's pretty much the game. I think he'll play pretty well, though. He'll just have that one bad mistake, one mental mistake. That'll be it, and the Bears will be out, and the Packers will be in. I think the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Bucks are the last 3 spots.
Okay, yeah, and that's the next thing I want to do right before we head off. I'm going to do playoff predictions and just who we think is going to, cement the spots to make it anyway, and then all the way down probably to the Super Bowl. But yeah, for the Bears, what they have to do is win, or Cardinals have to lose, or they have to tie, and the Cardinals have to tie. So, like I said, they control their own destiny, especially with a win. They're in. Like I said, who would have thought? But with these two teams, like I said, both of them have something on the line. Both of them have something to play for. With Green Bay, they clinched the first round bye with a win or a tie, and then the Seahawks lose or tie. So pretty much they control their own destiny as well. So pretty big game for both squads. I don't think anyone's really resting anybody. Packers are hungry. I think, like you said, that number 1 spot is definitely crucial since only one team gets it this year. They'll be able to rest that 1 week and be ready for whoever they have to face with the last seeds. But with the Bears, it's interesting. I don't know. Trubisky has been playing well ever since Foles went down. He's gotten this team back to where they were initially in the beginning of the year when they started out 5-1. But we do know, like you said, he's good for a mental mistake or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, and could put this team right in a pretty bad position down the stretch. So it's going to be just like we said with some other quarterbacks with Baker, and also with Daniel Jones. This is another big game, probably the biggest game of his career right now with the Bears. And it's definitely big because he already has the shadows, of course, of Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. But are they going to continue to, have him around on the team, or are they looking this offseason to trade him? What they're going to do with him? So
I'll give you a quick little my 2 cents. I think because it's hard to find a QB. He's not the best. I signed him to a small deal, like a 2-year extension, $30 million, something small, because if they give him anything above 20, they're going to lose it in the locker room.
Yep.
Where my money at?
Exactly. So, I mean, I can definitely see that happening. I feel like I can see him taking that as well, just because, he knows the way he's kind of performing, why they brought Nick Foles in to, kind of compete. You guys starting spot taking or whatever. But I feel like that's fueled him a little bit. It will be I think it's going to be probably, if not the best game of the day, the second best game of the day. If the Bears are able to, stay stride for stride with the Packers offense. We know they don't have that many offensive weapons on that side of the ball, but like I said, if Trubisky is able to do what he needs to do, like he's able to extend plays with his legs as well, underratedly. And if he's able to find Allen Robinson and a few other guys in key spots, and just limit turnovers, I think it'll be a close game, because I think the Bears defense will be fueled off of if they see the Bears offense is able to put up points. Like if they see that they're able to trust each other, and they're able to see like, okay, yeah, they're doing their job, the Bears defense is going to be, rallied, and they're going to, come after Aaron, and they're going to do their job. So I think, if not, like I said, not the best game, which I think the Bills and Miami game is probably going to be the best game, hopefully. This should be, the second best game of the day. I think the Packers still come out on top, but I think the Bears still get in the playoffs because I feel like the Cardinals are going to lose. So, yeah. Real quick, I guess the last thing we're going to do before we get out, I know I'm not able to have a graphic or anything, but we'll just say like the teams that we get in the last 3 spots, because the top 4 kind of already cemented, but the last 3 spots, and then kind of I guess who out of the 3 spots that we like, the wild card spots that we think get cemented, who do we think has a chance to win and move on, and who do we think is pretty much like a one and done? Like for me, more likely it's going to be like Washington, but we'll do that real quick. Out the AFC, we'll start with them first since there's a lot of movement there. Who do you think gets those last 3 spots?
I got to back up what I said. I'm really skeptical about Miami winning today, but since I have them winning, that would leave who out? If all 3 teams win today, like if Miami, Cleveland, and Baltimore, the 3 teams already in, win, Indy's out, right?
I believe so, because everybody right now is sitting at 10-5. So I think if you said if Dolphins win, Cleveland wins, and the Ravens win, then
they're out.
Yeah, because I think the Colts, they need the Ravens to lose, they need the Browns to lose, they need the Dolphins to lose. They pretty much need the most help. The Colts too. So I don't think they have like any type of tiebreaker. That's pretty much
man, my prediction will be all screwed up if Tua lays an egg, which they can't lose, but I just see them putting off the upset. But those will be my 3 teams getting in: the Browns, the Ravens, and Dolphins. And it depends on the matchups for me, like the moving on to the one and done part of who moves on. I can't really answer that today. I can answer who I think is going to be a one and done, but I have to wait to see the matchups.
Let me see. I got the other thing pulled up. So right now with AFC, the Browns are 7, Ravens are 6, and Dolphins are 5. So I guess say it stays like that, because I think you said all those teams get in.
Well, I don't think it will though. Some teams, like if the Browns win, Pittsburgh's going to lose. So where do they drop?
Oh, they're already 7th, so I don't think. They're already 7th. So if the Colts lose, then I mean they should still be 7th, because the Ravens and Dolphins, in your scenario 1. So 7th, they basically play. They would play the Bills, because if the because you think Miami's gonna win, they'll play the Steelers. So it'd be Steelers, Browns in the first round of the playoffs. Because the Steelers would jump the Bills and the Bills would have lost, so they'd be the 3rd seed. So
for me, I'm going to put more thought into this, so I'm going to wait until we do a show again to go into exactly who's going to be one and done. But if I have an idea, I think Miami and Cleveland are the 2 one and dones out of the AFC. I think.
And then you think the Ravens?
I don't see them winning, but if they match up versus anybody else, I can see them winning. Because I don't know what it is about the Titans, but they don't match up. So for the AFC,
exactly.
Those are my 3 teams I see making it: Browns, Dolphins, and Ravens. And I see the Browns and Dolphins going home on wild card weekend.
That's interesting. I think because the Colts play your Jaguars, I think they got a good chance to.
It's a 99% chance.
Yeah, they have a good chance to upset somebody, to knock somebody out. And what is looking like I said, and they still can clinch the AFC South, but which definitely, like I said, we're gonna have to do a show beforehand, but that can put a lot of different movement into it, because the matchup ain't gonna be nowhere what we're thinking it is right now. But say the Titans win, and they just to clinch a playoff berth, they have to win, and all 3 of the other teams have to, or not all 3, but one of the other 3 teams have to lose to take that spot. So for me, I think the Dolphins possibly might lose, so the Colts take their spot, which still makes some movement going forward. I don't know if they'll be 5 or 6, but they'll probably be somewhere in there, because I don't think they have a tiebreaker over anybody. But I think it's the Colts, Browns, and Ravens for me. And out of those, I think Browns are probably one and done, depending on the matchups. I think if they have to play the Steelers again, that's probably a loss. And I think if they have to play the Bills, for sure, that's going to be a loss. And that's one of the 2 teams that they're probably going to have to play, because those are 2 and 3. And I don't think they're able to move up any higher than 6 or 7. So Bills or Steelers, whichever way they fall, the Browns are probably going to have to play them, and more than likely, I think the Browns are going to take that loss. NFC wise, who do you think holds those last 3 spots, and who do you think may possibly be a one and done?
Something crazy. Like I said, I don't want to go back on what I said earlier, so I have to go with Washington, but I could see Dallas maybe sneaking in. But my last 3 spots would be the Bucks already secured the 5 seed. And I'm gonna go with the Rams and Cardinals because the Rams would have lost, they can still get in. You said a lot of scenarios, but yeah. So the Rams, Cardinals, and Bucks are my last 3 teams. And I'm gonna be honest, the NFC is tricky, man, because the Saints. I think the Saints could be one and done, even though they play defense. But Drew Brees, I could see Drew Brees costing them the game.
Yeah.
This was a tough one for me. If I had to choose one team that I think would be one and done, the Cardinals, because they don't have the best defense. Like their offense is high powered at times, but if you contain their offense, their defense, they get stops. They have some playmakers. Buda Baker's a dog, but I feel like they can be had if they match up with the right team. But the Rams, they play defense this year, and Sean McVay, they've been there before. Like I know that sounds crazy, but they've been there before. They won in the Superdome when many teams don't win there. They had a playoff experience, so I think that will matter. And Brady, he could go one and done, but he's not going for it, and I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Now matchup, but they have the 5 seed locked up, so they'll play the NFC East first round. So that will be a dub. So if I had to choose, I'm going with the Rams. I mean, the Cardinals is my one and done team, and the last 3 teams I see making it will be the Rams and Cardinals, along with the Bucks, who already secured a spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I think for me, well, I guess I forgot to ask you about the NFC East, but I think we're both on the same page. We both think Washington's gonna like you said, take that spot, and then the Bucks are gonna have to play NFC East winners, and then more than likely that team's gonna be one and done. So that kind of went without saying. We already think the NFC East is gonna be one and done regardless. But last spots, you said I think I don't know. Rams I think are in, and I don't know. I want to say the Bears, but I cannot trust them.
Yeah,
I do not like them. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna just say Rams. I'm gonna go on a limb just because you already went Rams and Cardinals. I'm gonna just say Rams and Bears. I think somehow the Bears figure out a way to beat the Packers because it's a rivalry game. They both have played in the cold. With the Packers, like yes, they're still playing for the number 1 seed, but I don't know. Sometimes these games get weird. Like sometimes the Bears are able to pull out games like this. They're Mitch Trubisky. A lot's on the line for him as a whole. Whether he's going to be the quarterback of the team, quarterback of the future. Nope. No, I'm talking about Trubisky.
No, I'm talking about Baker having a big game. Trubisky, this is a big game for him too. If he wins against the
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I said earlier. I was like, this is just as big of a game for Baker it is, and for Trubisky it is. So, I'm gonna, like I said, just to be different, I'm gonna say Rams and Bears. Those are Rams, Bears. Bucks already got the last spot or the 5th spot, so those are the last 3 teams that get in. One and done wise, though, I think it's still some movement that can go on. If the Packers lose, I believe that opens it up for either the Saints or Seahawks to get that first place bye, or get the first place in the bye. So I can't really say who, but I think out of the ones and done, like we said, we already think NFC East is going to be one and done. I think the Bears, they get in, but I think they're in the one and done team. Yeah, but like you said, it's interesting, and we're going to talk about it more before, but the Saints could possibly be that one and done team, and it all depends on two, because Alvin Kamara is on the COVID list or whatever. They said based off the scheduling of how they do these wild card games, they said if they schedule the Saints game for the 9th, then he can't play. But if they schedule it for the 10th, then he'd be eligible to play. And like I said, that 1 day difference is crazy. So it's like that does a lot. Like I said, Drew Brees is banged up. I feel like we talked about it before in a different show. He comes back from injuries quicker than I think I've seen anybody ever come back from injury. And he hasn't been that great. He's been decent. Like he brought them back against the Chiefs, but he also hasn't played that well just overall since he's come back from the injury. Plus, he's been without a bunch of his weapons. Obviously, Thomas has been out a lot of the year. Tre'Quan Smith's been out a lot. Harris been out a lot. But being out with those guys possibly being out, and then also not having Kamara out, or really any running back, Latavius Murray and all of them, they can possibly be a one and done team no matter who they play, which would more than likely be the Rams. So, yeah, especially with them, like they always get in the playoffs and losing. That's pretty much been their staple the last few seasons. So, who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Hopefully, they're able to play healthy. Maybe they get that January 10th date and they have all their guys back. and ready to, I guess, march towards the Super Bowl. But yeah, man, that's all the playoff, a lot of playoff predictions, games about to come on now. We're definitely gonna see and figure out how everything shakes out, and I guess get everything sorted, and then we'll be able to talk a little bit more in depth about it in upcoming shows and upcoming weeks. So, anything else you got to add or think that may happen today, or
Nah,
just prediction in general?
I feel like I will be wrong on a couple of predictions, especially the Dolphins. But I'm somewhat of a better, so I take risks. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
think
forward. We'll be watching a lot more games. Like I usually watch most of the Jaguars game until they start, getting blown out, and then I'll turn. But I'll be switching back and forth all day. And hopefully nobody
exactly.
hurt.
I might not even.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'll just say I might not even. I was just agreeing. I was like, yeah, I might not even turn the Falcons one on. I might just have to watch all these other ones.
But yeah, I just hope everybody stays injury free because week 17, especially for the teams that have a playoff spot locked up, it's always seems for some crazy to happen with a key player getting injured on a meaningless play. So I hope everybody stays safe. And with the Drew Brees thing you were saying about, I have a comment on that. I think they'll go but I don't know if Drew Brees will allow it because there was reports coming out. I already knew he was going to retire after this year, but there's more. I think he's telling people that this is it. So one last go around.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a tough. There'll be a tough out, especially with that defense, and he'll be on his A game. So
yeah,
be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think yeah, like you said, it is his last go around. I think he kind of made that. I mean, it's been a long year. It was a long year, but I think he had made it known at the beginning of the year before the NFL season had started. That he pretty much gonna maybe retire after this year. So it's pretty much it's all or nothing in a sense for them because, like I said, these last few years they've been getting bounced out of the playoffs off of crazy stuff. The two most notable things we know is Minnesota, but overall, I think they should be ready to play. I hope they're not the one. I hope they're the one and done just because I don't like the Saints. But as an organization, and for their fan base and everything, it'll be crushing again for them to be a one and done type playoff situation. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be wrong with some type of prediction as well. I think we're just set up for a crazy day for NFL games, crazy slate of games. There's a lot of things on the line, a lot of teams that have something to play for in these games. But overall, it'll be interesting to see how things shake out. Maybe some teams that we're not used to get into the playoffs. Maybe some teams that were slated to be in the playoffs all year fall off and lose the game, and looks like they're not going to be able to make it. We're going to see some winning teams not make the playoffs, and we're going to see some very, very bad losing teams make the playoffs. So overall, it's just going to be interesting, and can't wait to see how everything shakes out. But yeah, that's it for another episode of What the Game Means to Me. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody in the comments, for sticking with us, commenting, letting us know our thoughts. Thanks for my dad for letting me know I'm not his favorite son again. And yeah, another loaded episode, and glad to be with y'all this morning. Glad y'all with us this morning. Thad, you have anything?
I don't know if it went out or not. Can you hear me? What'd you say? Sorry, buffer.
Oh yeah, I said that. Yeah, I said you got anything to say before we head out? Nah, you good.
Nah, not too much. Good NFL Sunday. Everybody tune in, and we'll be coming with y'all with some more playoff predictions, college football predictions, and much more. Just stay tuned.
Yep, for sure. Of course, everybody already knows kind of where to find the podcast and the replay of this show. Follow us on Facebook at What the Game Means to Me, Instagram at What the Game Means to Me, and then on Twitter at WTG MTM Podcast. Like that said, we rolling as the games come, as situations happen. We'll be rolling out more shows, more content, more tweets, more posts, more everything. And like I said, it's gonna be a really fun year, really big things happening, and we're glad to be rocking with y'all and everybody rocking with us. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Everybody enjoy your games, enjoy the NFL Sunday. We'll catch you guys later.